Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about trying to find, getting started and trying to find the best kind of equipment that's less expensive to get started in hiking, camping, bushcraft, and outdoor survival. So I'll be right back with you. So welcome back everybody. Um, a lot of people are deterred when it comes to camping because of the price of gear. And this is a shame. When I started off camping as a young guy, I had a surplus Army blanket, pup tent. We used just some old camping gear that we had found in surplus stores or borrowed from somebody, and didn't really have a backpack even. I mean, we just sort of put the stuff inside of a bag, and then we'd go out and carry it around, carry it in our hands, this kind of stuff, um, and camp. Okay, we would build a fire. I did later on get myself a World War II camping stove when I was working one summer at a surplus store, and I did pick up a few other items, which if I could go back in time knowing what I know now, I would have cleaned up on a whole lot of surplus kit that's very valuable today, like the Jungle Pack, for example. We had hundreds of them. Anyway, so that leads me to the first thing, and because of the price of gear, it's just too expensive to get out a lot of times today, and it deters people from getting out. In scouting, our troop had gear that we put together from donations or from fees, this kind of like that, and that paid into getting us tents for the boys and extra gear just in case we needed it, because we didn't have, not everybody could afford it. And I remember as a scoutmaster, I would put together gear for boys, this kind of stuff. I put my son's gear together in the very beginning, and we had money to do it. I just preferred to I wanted to make sure he wanted to stick around. I didn't want to just buy a whole bunch of gear. I wanted him to earn it a little bit too. So that leads us to the first problem: the price of gear. If you look at what's out there, people are brand minded. Look at stuff like Arc'teryx. They look at like Eberlestock. They look at Kifaru. They look at Mystery Ranch. And then here in Europe, Savota, I think, which is a Finnish brand. And they look at regular hiking gear. And that's not a bad area to look if you can afford it. What I just suggest, though, is to not start off in that direction. Not start off by buying a bunch of expensive gear in the very beginning, and there are ways around that. One of the first ways around is just go to surplus stores. Go to a military surplus store, grab yourself, if you're in America, the Large Alice is a fantastic 62-liter backpack that's perfect for getting started in bushcraft and camping and even hiking, okay? You're not going to overload it the way we did when I was in the Army. You're going to not carry 70 pounds in it, or 60 pounds, or 25 35 liters in it. You're gonna dial that back a whole lot. So that's one way. I mean, you can also go to like Facebook Marketplace, or here in Switzerland we have Ricardo, or you can go to Craigslist in the States, and even you can go to other listings, and you can find good gear, really good gear that sadly you can even get some very good brands for less than half the price, because people bought into it. They spent that money. They bought thousands of dollars worth of gear, and then they decided, oh, I don't like this, or I don't have time for this, or things in their life changes, okay? Or they barely used it, I picked up and this has been a while back, I picked up a really nice backpack that cost about $600. Originally, I got it for $150 on Facebook, not Facebook Marketplace, but on the Facebook sales site for military gear. And great pack, a little too heavy now. I don't use it anymore, but it's I replaced it, and I've gone back a bit, but the prices of that kind of stuff, and you can find much more affordable gear through other ways, other means, this kind of stuff. Okay. Another thing, when you're buying your gear, you look behind me here, I have a whole lot of stuff here. I've bought a lot of stuff. I've bought into a lot of stuff. I've tested a lot of stuff. I try a lot of stuff. And you have some brands like Jetboil back there. You have Nalgene. You have this, this canteen system from the Pathfinder, which it's pretty good, but it's also very heavy. You have the zebra pots here, which are quite nice. But you don't have to go out and buy all that brand stuff. Which you can go to. First of all, if you can make it, make it. I mean, you can get yourself some basically a big, a vegetable pot or can or pot. This kind of stuff that you had beans in it or something like that, or like on a massive scale. You can get one of those, and then what you can do is you got to, basically get it down towards. Now, aluminum is, you got to be careful with. Okay, if you can find something metal, steel is much better, but aluminum is just, there's some problems with that. This becomes more toxic as you heat it up. So I don't suggest necessarily go that route. We used to go that route, before we knew the dangers involved, and we used to use those as stoves, to boil water for coffee or to cook with or whatever, But you can also just, go to a used store, a lot of used stuff like the Salvation Army. Over here we have Coupe de Pouce or this kind of stuff, and you won't believe what kind of pots and pans you can find in this place for nothing, for like a couple of bucks. Grab that kind of stuff. It's much cheaper, and it may be a little heavier, and with time you can adapt, you can replace some of your gear. But if you can make it, or first of all, if you can buy it cheaper, used or whatever, do that. Okay. Second, if you can make it, do that. I make a lot of stuff. You see this right here is my right here. What you see is my my map case. Okay, I made that case. Okay, there's nothing that says you can't go online on YouTube and find a tutorial how to make a backpack, and you can just, all you gotta do is find the material, practice on some of your sewing skills if you don't have any. Make some of the stuff first, get some confidence, and then you can use those tutorials. You can make yourself whatever size backpack you want to make, okay? But like I said, if you can go the surplus route, that's a much better route when it comes to backpacks. If I can just give you some advice when it comes to bags and this kind of stuff, get yourself a big bag around 60 to 80 liters, and you can do anything with that. You can even go to shopping. I saw a video the other day, there was a couple filming this guy who had one of these electric scooters, and he had a vest, and he had a lot of carabiners on it. And he had bought all these plastic bags full of food, and he attached them to his vest, and he rode off on it. And I thought, why does this guy not have a 60-liter rucksack? He could put everything in it, put it on his back. It'd be much safer. Okay, you're less likely something rip off or shred off or fall off or whatever like this right here. I don't understand that whatsoever. Why everybody should be invested in some kind of luggage or bag or something, and I would suggest a good backpack. But a good 60 to 80 liter backpack is a good starting pack, and then get yourself a 30 liter pack, 35 liter pack, and this is a good day pack, And then if you want something even smaller, you can get yourself like a shoulder bag or something like that, and those work fantastic. But those two main size bags is what I would suggest. Like I said, the Alice pack is 62 liters. You can do a whole lot with that thing. And then, of course, you have your 30-liter pack for a really nice day pack. And look, a school bag. I remember when I was in the Army, and I've told this story before. I was walking back. I was in Germany. I was walking back past the post exchange, the PX, and there was a dumpster full of East. What's it called? Can't remember the name of the bag, but it was like full of them. These things were expensive, like 30-something bucks each, And so I grabbed as many as I could. I stuffed them in one of them. I grabbed another handful. I had two of them full. And I went back to the barracks, and I was handing them out to people, all my friends, this kind of stuff. I kept two. One was green, and one was blue. My ex-wife has the blue one, I think, right now, and she kept it. East, I can't remember the name of that company. Anyway, but the other one I used, actually, I brought it to war with me. I brought it to the Gulf War 91. It was my run bag, and I put it on top of my Lowy Commando, my Alpine Commando bag that we were issued, and I used it, and it was a fantastic little backpack. It was green. I think I would very simple pack. It was like a school bag, but those things were guaranteed for life, and I can't remember the name of them. That's crazy. I wish I still had that pack because it's a really good little bag for daily stuff, Anyway, something like that will do. What I do suggest is try to get something more outdoory colors, like coyote or tan, or black is for me is still too much. I'm not a fan of black, but olive greens, forest greens, even these camouflages, they go find the military ones, but avoid red, blue, purple, all these bright colors because you're going out in nature, okay? And that's just sort of a sore thumb. But also, if you like to stealth camp or camp like this right here, that's also another thing involved in that. So then, so if you can make what you can make, okay? Or talk to somebody, who maybe can make it. You'd be surprised. There are seamsters out there who will make stuff for you much cheaper, half the price as it would be to go out and buy yourself a big expensive 600, 700, 900. There's those military Mystery Ranch military rugs over here in Europe. They're going for almost $1,000 each. Some of them are. So it's a little bit OTT. And look, I'm someone who's tested a lot of rucksacks and gone through a lot of them. And I've come back to the Alice. Now I've always had this dream of getting myself a Mystery Ranch pack. I just don't like some of the design of it, the long tubular pockets. I don't like that too much. But the rest, I think it's a really good backpack. But do I want to spend 600, 700, 800 bucks for a backpack? No, I don't. Okay. So in the future, I want to make my own backpack. Anyway, so make your gear. Let's look at gear, okay? The backpacks themselves, there are places you can go and, like I said, go online, go to Surplus. You can get an Owl's backpack between 25 to 60 bucks. And over here, I just saw some for 120 bucks online that were in good condition, but over here in Europe, I can still get them brand new. I'm getting one soon. I have one, I'm gonna get another one for 65 bucks. Okay. And so for me, that is a steal. That's a really good deal. And that's what I won't modify. I'm modifying the used one I have. I've been modifying it. There's lots of videos. You can find them down below for me modifying my rucksack. Another thing you can do, you can also go to like Decathlon. Decathlon, you get like a large, I think it's a 60-liter hunting backpack. And it's about 60 bucks. So you're paying like $1 a liter. Now, I'm not a big fan of Decathlon's gear, but I've seen reports about these packs that said they're actually pretty decent packs, okay? All you need is a simple pack. You need something, excuse me, I bumped a tripod. All you need is a backpack that's basically a top loader. Cut out all these zippers. The more work that's been done on it, the more expensive it's going to be. So you want a cheaper bag, you want a tubular bag, a larger bag, like a top-loading Alice. If it has some pockets on the outside, that's fantastic. But if it doesn't, okay, you can live without it. It'll have some tightening straps, kind of stuff, and that you can go with. There is I read a story or an essay one time about a guy who ultralighted the Appalachian Trail, and when he did, he did it with like a jogging suit, tennis shoes, older guy, 60s, older than I am. And he did it with a garbage bag, really heavy duty, hefty backpacks, garbage bags, which he tied, he used that, if you also look down below, he used that clove hitch along at the bottom. He put two balls or ball bearings or two stones in the bottom, and he wrapped the string around that, and he made himself a little small backpack with that, and he could just change it out every once in a while if it was wearing itself out. But that's what he did the Appalachian Trail with. So impressive, very, very impressive. But that's the idea. When you get out there, you need to try to leave as much of home at home and get out there and enjoy nature as much as possible. You can build yourself a frame with sticks and string, and then you can get yourself a canvas bag or whatever, roll your stuff up and put it inside of it and just attach that, and you can hike with that. There's lots of things you can do. So look on those primitive stuff. Look at the lone gun stuff. Look at the survival stuff. You'll see this stuff, but don't try to avoid blowing a whole lot of money into this hobby, because that's what it is, a hobby. Unless it's a lifestyle for you, but it's primarily a hobby in the beginning, and it's something you either grow into or you don't. Something else when it comes to all your hand tools, axes, kind of stuff, go to hardware stores. Go to the big box stores, that sell like Home Depot, or over here we have Obi and we have Bauhaus and we have this kind of stuff, Co-op, Bricolage, and get yourself an axe. get yourself a handsaw, you know, I mean, and it may be a little heavy. Like I said, in the beginning, this stuff may not be the high-end stuff, but it's going to do what you're doing. If you're getting out once a month, okay, which is actually pretty good, getting out once a month, and you're doing 24 hours out camping, this stuff will last you a lifetime. It'll last you a long time, especially if you take care of it. You don't misuse it, you know. Most problems with axes are people just misuse them. They're not using them correctly. Saw's the same way, you know. If you don't know how to saw, you know, to sharpen the saw or sharpen your axe, you know, find somebody, take a course, go online. There are lots of videos out there. I even have videos about it, you know, and going over how to sharpen and, you know, your blades, you know. I'm a three-tooled person when it comes to going outdoors. I carry a small Swiss Army knife, you know, which costs nothing, about $35, and I think I got it for free actually, a long time ago. I still use that thing, and it works. I use it as my primary knife when I'm out in the field, unless I'm doing some serious work when I pull out my, you know, my heavy-duty knife, you know, drop point knife, but a fixed blade, not drop point exactly. Or, you know, but you don't have to go that route either. For $19, you can get yourself a Mora Frost knife, you know. And like I said, you can go online and get a lot of stuff used, you know, that's just needs to be sharpened or whatever. A lot of people, they don't know how to sharpen. They buy it, they don't know how to sharpen. It's dull. Excuse me. And then they stop using it. Or they start off with this level of stuff and then they build themselves up. And there's nothing wrong with that, okay? Nothing wrong with that. But you don't need 10,000 tools on you, you know. So, and then I have a handsaw. But now I've actually updated that. Now I have one of these longer bucking saws, you know. But it's still long, you know. It's not compact, so it sort of sticks out of the side of my rucksack, you know, a little bit too big, more than I really wish it would. But it is what it is, and it saws much better. But anyway, look at those routes, okay? When it comes to your food, this kind of stuff, you can go to any shopping place and buy some food that you can go out there and cook with, and start off with that. It's going to be a little heavy in the beginning, your gear is, you know, but if I can just say this, maintain the 10 essentials, and you can find those videos in my collection. I've just look up for 10 essentials in my list, my video list, and I talk in depthly about the 10 essentials. I have videos about each of those items and why I carry them and why they're there. You can look up lists online. It's very important, 10 essentials, and you can build from that when it comes to your sleeping bag sleep system. You know, you can go get a surplus. I mean, I still use the ECWC, the Woodland Gore-Tex cover, which I don't use the Gore-Tex cover anymore because I just don't need it. I build myself a basha, which can be a poncho you can get used or whatever for very little money for your, you know, to live under. You don't need to have some kind of full-size tent, you know, but that is just as fine. You can get yourself I used a surplus military sleeping bag. I use the ECWC, like I said, with the old Woodland one, and that thing, I got it brand new back in the early 2000s when it was out, when I first finally was able to get it. And that was $850. Now they're going for a brand new ones for like $300, $250. I've actually picked them up for $190 for a friend of mine before. But you can also get them used, and there's nothing wrong with a used bag. I mean, of course, you're only sleeping it once a month, or probably. You know, you're not spending months and months and months in it like the soldiers do. So if you get one that's used, quite often the stuff that's used, which is in really good condition, was probably used by a unit full of people who are support. So they're not really abusing that the way an infantryman would, or an engineer, or paratrooper, or a ranger, or a special forces guy is. But there are other big brands out there you can get who have actually decent sleeping bag systems that'll work also very, very well. But who says you can't just get yourself a poncho liner for the summer, or a wool blanket, a couple of wool blankets, you know? Like I said, it's up to you what you get, how you get it, and how you use it, okay? So your sleep system can be very basic, very simple, okay? With just a foam mat to get you off the ground, you know? So you don't need a $300 air mattress, you know, when you start out, you know? Your cook system can be very simple, like we explained before. You can either build a fire. If you can't build a fire, you can get yourself something like what here is the Swiss Army. This is the Swiss Army system right here. It's a couple candles will do the same thing. But right here, it's fuel inside of it. You can unscrew it. You have the little pot holder here. that gets on this. And look, this is the price. Yeah, $3. Here, $3 for this thing. If you can see that, costs nothing. And this right here will last you several meals on a weekend. You get yourself some used candles. These tea candles work too. This is a regular, this old surplus candle. You can get yourself like this, stuff like this right here. You don't need these high-end candles. Get you something quite cheap. This is an Esbit stove. This is the old one right here, which I think this is the one. Yeah, this is the one I used when I was in the Army for many, many years. Okay, I used to keep, when I ran out of Esbit tabs, which I have more now, but I would use the military fuel tabs, and then we had some gelatin packs, that kind of stuff. They're all very compact, very lightweight. Pop it open, get your fire going, get your cup or pot or whatever you have over it. It may take longer to cook, but you know what? You're there to relax and enjoy yourself. You're not there. You're not in a hurry. A lot of people, they want to wear these high-speed watches. Sure, I have a really nice high-speed Tissot watch, which is $500. But my first watch I bought was like a little Swatch watch. I think I don't remember how much I paid for it. I was in high school, but that thing did not go to the Army with me. What did go to the Army with me was my pocketbook. Well, actually, I think right before I went to the Army, my dad brought me to the PX, or no, I bought it at the PX. We weren't allowed to wear watches. So at the end of basic training, I was able to go to the PX, and I bought myself, not the same, but I bought myself a G-Shock. And I bought myself the G-Shock, the Casio G-Shock, and the very first month I paid $22 for it. It didn't last very long at my own, because I have this thing where if someone sees something that they like it, they ask me for it, and they tell me they like it, they're impressed by it, I end up giving it to them. And I gave it to my dad. And he didn't like wearing a watch, so he took the bands off of it and kept it in his pocket. And although he's passed away, that watch is still in his stuff. And this has been 30-something years later, since 1986. Now, I did go on and buy myself another one when before going off to the infantry school. But yeah, I wore a regular Casio watch, and that worked fine for me, and that worked fine for anybody. It does the main thing. It tells you the time, and if you need the other stuff like the date and all this kind of stuff, an alarm, it does all that stuff too. But I use it primarily for the time, and I had one of these high-speed covers that go over it. Well, guess what? Your gloves can go over it, and so's in your shirt, so you can wear it that way. So I do, when I'm out working and goofing off or camping, this kind of stuff, I will bring this with me, because this is enough if you need a watch, and I tend to like to know. I mean, of course, nowadays we have our phones, which tells us the time also. Anyway, this is just a few things. There are a lot more things we can talk about. Shelter, all this kind of stuff. And there's plenty of videos about that, and I've made plenty of videos about it also. When it comes to your clothing, I don't suggest you wear jeans outdoors, but you know what? You can get yourself an old pair of BDU pants or something like that, or work pants or shorts. That'll work fine. Your shoes, you can go out there, a pair of jogging shoes, just like that, in the summertime. Now, in the wintertime, it's going to be different. You're going to need some better protection. Use that Gore-Tex. If it's raining outside, it's not very fun. But, avoid cotton, I would say. That's cotton kills, so avoid all this cotton stuff. Get yourself like natural materials and wools or polyesters and stuff like that. Some polyesters are actually okay, and when it comes to protecting and drying very quickly and wicking away from you. But avoid those $700, Arc'teryx or Wild Things or whatever, jackets, unless you find them in a really good deal on surplus or online, this kind of stuff. But guess what? I don't like going outside in the summertime and wearing a Gore-Tex jacket the whole time I'm out there. It's there with me. I have had two lightweight Gore-Tex jackets I've had. Well, actually, not even Gore-Tex. They're high vent. They're North Face ones. The first one was gray, and the other one is blue, and I have it still today, and I still use it. It goes in my pack. The only time I won't bring it is if I have a poncho, and guess what? I don't have a poncho. I gave it to my son when he was in scouting, and he doesn't. It's not. He's using it. He still has it. So I'm looking for a U.S. Army poncho, actually, in Woodland or that's in very good condition. I like to have a new one, but you can't get them anymore. You can't find them. It's so hard to find. And so, but I'm looking for one. Because with that, I can use that as shelter, and I can use it as my rain jacket, and put over my gear. So, and that's why I cut down on the weight a little bit. So I'm still going back to the surplus market. I keep doing it, and I keep making my own gear. So, and that's the point. The more you can make, the more you have here, the more knowledge you have, the lighter that weight's going to be on your back. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. 25 minutes. Man, that's a long video, okay? I do apologize. I haven't been making long videos in a long time. I've been trying to keep them short, under 12, 15 minutes. And so, but this right here is going to be a little longer. I hope you enjoyed it. I'd appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share with your friends and enemies, and leave a really cool comment down below, because I definitely want to read it and respond to it. And if you have any other great ideas, throw them at me. I really appreciate it. And please follow my channel. Go to my website, helvetiabushcraft.ch. See if there's anything interesting on there. I have a load of stuff on there. Lots of backpacks, lots of gear, surplus, military, some new items. I have a lot of stuff on there, so let me know, okay? I know shipping is expensive right now getting to the States. I do apologize for that, but we can try to work out something that we can make it a lot less expensive. Anyway, hope you all have a great weekend. It's coming up, huh? And this video is going to come out a little bit later, okay? But you take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you very, very soon, okay? Goodbye. Take care.